Yikes. Hey roomies, welcome back to the Break Room Arcade. I'm Logan Daniel, and I'm here to talk to you about the music of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and some other things. So today we're just gonna cover, and we're gonna work through our feelings about the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate theme. This is one of the most exciting musical moments in the games. It defines the musical experience in any Super Smash Bros. Game. It's almost always one of my favorite tracks throughout the now 5 games in the series. So we're just going to go ahead and listen to it. I'm going to work through my feelings. I'm going to comment on all the things I like about it, the things that I might not like about it, and then we're also going to compare it to previous themes, and then I think I'm going to rate them at the end from 1 to 5, 1 being my favorite and 5 being my least favorite. But I should preface this with all of these themes are great. I enjoy all of these themes. So putting these in order is going to be really difficult because I will be dealing with my feelings about not only how they stand on their own, but they're also going to be influenced by nostalgia, right? So when I was growing up, Super Smash Bros. Melee was the game that I played. I didn't play as much Brawl. I didn't find Brawl to be as fun, but I still played plenty of Brawl because I had a Wii. And who didn't have Brawl if you had a Wii? Well, a lot of people, but still a huge game. So we're going to go ahead and listen to this. Really excited. Oh my goodness. I can't wait until this game comes out. We're so close. So right here, like you can hear the horns. Obviously, it's triumphant. It's beautiful. The composer really knows how to start and how to set the mood, right? So we get the horns, which sound very, again, triumphant. I think that's the best word to describe what that is like. And in addition to that, you got some, what I think sounds like harps in the background, just adding a lot of character to what's happening. There's some bells in the background. Oh, man. The best compositions for anything, especially on this scale, whether it be a movie, whether it be a game, is the ones that stick tend to be iconic for whatever reason. And they're in those iconic songs, there is always a really strong motif, a theme, a melody that they play over and they revisit. And so that opening horn, do 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 do, like it gets me going. It gets everybody going, and they know exactly what they're doing. I would compare this in a lot of ways to how iconic I think the Lord of the Rings soundtrack is. There are moments in that series of films, specifically the Lord of the Rings films, not so much The Hobbit. I haven't even finished The Hobbit, but specifically in Lord of the Rings film, you get to the Shire and there's that tune. I'll just, again, about Hobbiton and the Hobbits, like do do do. So I think as I'm working through this, I think one of the thing that is going to carry a lot of weight is how memorable is that primary motif, that primary melody. Is it going to hold up as well? So now I'm having a double take and partially because, and I think I'm not even gonna like just necessarily finish this one. I'm gonna go. Let's go ahead and jump into where the beginning of the Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS, or Smash 4, as most people call it, Smash 4, Wii U and 3DS, and we're gonna see how they differ a little bit. Again, like just that horn line that's very distinct. They're both very reminiscent of each other, jumping back to the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Ooh, and then you get some strings in there. You get it changed up. It doesn't stay the same. It continually evolves. They add new elements. They take the same motifs. They build upon them. They build something underneath them. And it's weird because it's a little bit jarring because this theme already feels so familiar. And that's something that is the mark of a good theme, is when it doesn't take a lot of time to get into people's head and just become overly familiar. And I guess part of that is the familiarity in terms of the instruments that are used. Most of these tend to use a lot of, a lot of the same instruments. They're almost all orchestras. Let's go ahead and visit Brawl for a second. Let's see what that's up. So we got that low horn. Ooh, and the choir. That's the one thing about Brawl is like, Brawl is super iconic just because the theme is super iconic because of those vocals. Yeah, really, really great. So I guess I had a double take with the new theme, the Smash Ultimate theme, because it just, I mean, after a few months now, that's the theme, man. Like, I remember it. I can hear it in my head. And obviously I'm going to get it confused now with all these other themes because I'm jumping back and forth, but they all sound so familiar and so comfortable. And the feeling that they convey is very much the feeling that you're going to get when you jump into a Smash Bros. Game, or at least they want to lead with that. So maybe that's not necessarily the inherent feeling, but they're evoking a feeling out of you. They're setting the mood for how you feel like you should approach this game emotionally. Let's go ahead and jump over to Melee. Again, the horns. We got this intro going on, and it's building. I think the most iconic thing about the Melee, the Melee theme isn't necessarily some of the motifs, but I guess this here, right? This is it. This is the main motif right here. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, this version has all of the sound effects from the other, from the actual opening. Here's the most stark difference, though. Obviously, the original Super Smash Bros. Game was a very different game because it was just starting out. They were just figuring things out, and obviously, they refined it through the years. I guess you could still, like, that's still very just stringy. You get some, like, chimes in there, some brighter colors. But it's all, like, it's a lot more... It's a lot more digital. Because you obviously only had so much audio that you could do with on a cartridge. On a cartridge in those days, but... So... I think I'll go ahead and say this. To me, in my opinion, the original Super Smash Bros. Theme is the least iconic. I think the most iconic part about it is just I think the most iconic part about it is that part at the very beginning right here. Like, that you get that fake strings, those tingles, and then you get the transition shortly after that coming up here in a second. And I think that's the most iconic part, because I don't think many people get much further than that when they're playing the game. So if they stay for that opening cinematic, that's probably as much as they're going to hear, unless you're really into it, which if you are, more power to you, more respect to you, because these songs were made for listening to. They were made for listening to. So I think I'm going to go ahead and say Super Smash Bros. This is number 5. This is number 5. Let's go back to Melee. Let's revisit that. Oh, I forgot about this part. One of the prettiest parts in any of the themes. And I think something also significant about this specific theme is that it set the tone for all themes going forward. So maybe these other themes wouldn't have come the way that they have come without Melee coming first. So that's definitely going to bump this up on the list. That's definitely going to put this at least in the top 3. I can't put this at 4. I just, in my gut, this is just a very significant piece, even though I don't think it's as front and center with its primary motifs. It takes a little bit of time to get there. And so I think that's one of the improvements that they made from this to Brawl and to Smash 4 and to Ultimate, is they get that idea out there quicker. And I think that sets the tone. I think it sets a better tone, because all of a sudden you're humming it, right? Whereas like they're all really similar in feel. They're all trying to evoke that emotion of like wonder and imagination and adventure, and something it's saying to the player, to the consumer who buys these games, that this is grandiose, and that you're going to put a lot of time into this, and you're going to do a lot of really cool things. And in the sense that, man, these games just, they feel so good. And all this music from all these games just reinforces that. They're using Brawl again. Oh, the vocals, the choir in this is one of the defining features of the Brawl theme. And who can't forget this soprano line? Oh, and then I think as a vocalist, this really pushes Brawl up, because again, I dig these performances. I dig the more classical, orchestral, vocal performances. Again, I think this pushes it up the list. Ooh, it's really hard trying to organize this in my head and try to figure out, like, okay, let's keep listening. And I don't think I'll make it through all of these, but oh my gosh. And I'm a choir kid. I did a lot of choir in high school and in college, and this just, it speaks to me. It speaks to me. It really does. You get those tubas on the bottom, like dun 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 dun. Everything builds, and the musicality is just on point, which I would expect nothing less from all of these composers. Like they're gonna get the best of the best composers. And actually, I just maybe want to talk about some of the composers, and I think a lot of these composers are very, very different. I don't know if they've got different composers for every game, but the composer for the original Super Smash Bros. Is Hirokazu Ando, and let's look him up. Let's see what other things he has composed. It looks like he composed music for a lot of the Kirby games, which makes sense considering he works at HAL Laboratory, obviously. Yeah, it looks like he did music for Melee and the original game as well. Now, for Melee, the composer is Shogo Sakai. I might be butchering that. I am not a pro. Not a pro at Japanese names, but I try. So, Shogo Sakai has... he was in charge of the unreleased Earthbound 64 soundtrack. I wonder if that exists somewhere on the internet. That would be fun to visit. He was the sole composer for the entirety of the Mother 3 soundtrack. And looks like he's worked on Kirby. Yeah, it looks like Brawl 2. So again, a lot of Kirby, again, this is very unsurprising considering Kirby is very much a Sakurai IP. Very unsurprising, but again, these are all very capable composers. So for the Brawl theme, which I think Brawl's either going to be 1 or 2. Brawl's going to be 1 or 2 because what a great theme. Those vocals, it makes it very distinct. It sets it apart, especially from the 4 more natural orchestral pieces of the 4 sequel games as opposed to the original game. And so the composer of the Super Smash Bros. Brawl theme, Nobuo Uematsu, and it looks best known for scoring most of the titles in the Final Fantasy series. That's cool. Sometimes referred to as the Beethoven of video games music. It's a wonder I don't know more of these names, considering that I am a musician myself and I appreciate a lot of this music. So I guess I'm glad I'm doing this video because I'm learning things as we're going as well. So he was the composer for Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Worked with others for 10, 11, 12, 14. But it didn't look like. And it looks like he composed a few things for 15 as well. So this is Mr. I guess maybe I'll really like Final Fantasy music, and I'm not terribly familiar with Final Fantasy music, but maybe I'd really dig Final Fantasy music. And maybe this is reminiscent. I'm speaking from ignorance here, but maybe I would anticipate very similar elements in his other music. And so maybe that's something that I should explore. In terms of the Smash Bros. 4 theme, Super Smash Bros. 4 theme. Does it not credit a composer? Wow, way to throw a nick. I don't know. Why can't I find this information? It's got to be somewhere. It looks like it just credits Bandai Namco, obviously, because they helped to develop Super Smash Bros. 4. They were a large part of it. This is the remix of the main theme for Smash Bros. 4. The song has slight differences between both versions. The theme's bass line uses the same melody as the character select screen music in the original Super Smash Bros. This is great. This is great information. I did not know this, but the fact that they are sourcing some melodies from past games, I think that's great. I think it gives it coherency. I think, obviously, it keeps it It's always fun to go back and freshen up on some melodies. Yeah, so I cannot find the source. If I find it in post, I'll post it on the screen. This is the composer. And yeah, so finally, let's go back to the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate theme. Listen to a little bit more. So now, oh my, wow, I'm getting into this. No. No. Yeah, they're distinct. And man, now I'm really curious. I might have to make like another like uncut version of this video where I'm just digging through everything. This is quite a bit. This is so good. So I think I've made my decision. I think this is where I'm at. Number 5. The original Super Smash Bros. Theme. Number 4, Super Smash Bros. 4, or Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS. Number 3 is definitely Melee, just because of its legacy and how it established itself and establishing those iconic melodies that feel like in essence are echoed in the following Smash themes. Number 3. Number 2, I'd say Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I think partially that's because it's so fresh, and our introduction to it as well was really subtle. If you'll remember from the original reveal trailer for Smash Ultimate, when they just said Super Smash Bros. Is coming to Nintendo Switch. We have the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate reveal trailer. Ooh, I know how to type. And let's just skip to the part of the video where I'm talking about. If you listen very, very closely. And I think that's where I'm going to end it, with a pretty heavy conviction that I think Super Smash Bros. Brawl might be my favorite Smash Bros. Brawl theme. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, obviously, very, very close second, because what an introduction that melody is. Very slight, very subtle, teasing what was to come. And now we know. We're all very excited. The music is going to be fantastic with over 900 tracks. 900 tracks. That's insane. That's insane for any game. Even huge games. This is absurd. And we're going to talk about more in the next few weeks. I'm going to get more going. It's going to be good. This has been Logan Daniel of the Break Room Arcade. If you feel compelled, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you take it easy. So don't break your backs. Break in the games. But for now, break time's over.